So it was interesting. Swys did a good job. He looked up the law, and I imagine he might have spoken to referees. They say that the person charging the ball down has to take into account the safety of the kicker. Now, that fullback did not take into account the safety of Grant Williams. Grant Williams kicked the ball. He did manage to charge it down, not with his arms, with his thigh, but his jump was such that he hit Grant Williams' head, very similarly to CJ Sunder. So if you see the 15 going here, he just goes flat out and leaps. He's not taking... No one can claim that he, for one moment, had the safety of the kicker in the back of his mind. And that is against the laws. So why that wasn't referred to by the TMO or to the TMO, it was head contact. It was with great speed and ferocity. And I'm not sure where the mitigating circumstances were. So for not to have a yellow card there and possibly a red card really confused me on the field.
Yeah, that's the thing, Shim, when we look at it, we're just looking for consistency.
Yeah.
So also for the ref to say, I've got support around me. Guys, let's have a look at it quickly. Am I making the correct decision? I mean, for something like this, it's a TJ Standard comparison. We're trying to get away from head injuries. You know, in a URC game, chances would have been red, no chat. Super Rugby would be something totally different. What we saw in the test match, different. Yeah. How do we get that middle ground?
Look, they've introduced this bunker system maybe to try get that, but you know, you talk about Super Rugby, that Antonina Brown tackle in the first, that was a red card.
Yeah.
You know, that's why he got suspended. He's back now. That was even, there's guys that didn't look at that. So I think trying to get the consistency at all levels of rugby or different hemispheres, I think it's almost impossible. And the fact that they didn't look at this one, for me, the concerning thing is the hip turn for me is the big giveaway. Yeah. That if you think of player safety, you're going to charge down and then turn your hip into someone. If he misses that ball, that's an automatic red card. So that's the big issue. The fact that he turned his hip and went there. If he had gone there and said, listen here, maybe missed the charge down and landed on him and said, listen here.
Just hands against him.
Maybe it's fine. Maybe you look at a yellow, maybe nothing. But the fact that he turned his hip, like that, I mean, from 2 or 3 meters out.
For me, the fact that he turned his hip means he had no realistic chance of charging it down.
Exactly.
Because you're going to charge down, you'll be open. As soon as you turn, it means you've missed it.
Yeah.
Very good point.
And I know what the referee said, and I think the TMO, they said because he did manage to charge it down, he couldn't change his direction. He was already committed. But you can't be committed if you're going to injure the person you land on. And that's what he did. You can't charge a ball down in the way that if you continue your jump, you're going to hit that guy as he kicks the ball, just after he's kicked the ball. You're not taking his safety into account. And I think that Andrew Brace, I think he got that wrong, and I think the TMO got it wrong. I think that was, if that happened in a World Cup, I'd be very, very surprised if there wasn't, you know, a big hoo-ha about that.
How do we fix it, Swys? How do we fix it?
We, in forums like these, got to keep pushing it. Refs, I'm very interested to hear what World Rugby is going to say about this. Their statement, I couldn't find it today. I couldn't find a response. Guys who I asked said they're still waiting for the response there. But Law 911 clears this whole thing.
That's reckless. That's reckless.
Is it dangerous or reckless? Yes. It is not. It's not debatable. Those players must not do anything that is reckless or dangerous to others, including leading with the elbow or forearm or jumping or over a tackler. So he knows when he went there, he did long jump. He went for a miracle kind of thing that was reckless and dangerous. It's not, guys, I'm sorry to say it, but if you just look at the law, I'm not saying the law is right. That we can debate. But what I'm saying is, if you apply the law, that was definitely a red. And now we don't want red cards, Owen. We said it earlier.
Yeah, sure.
But that's another debate.
No, but player safety, you need a change in behavior. I mean, there's a guy knocked out cold there. Been stretched. How do you sell the game by doing it?
Let's just be logical. I come in and I clean Shimmi out, and I do that and clean him out slowly, but I take him out. That's a neck roll, and you'll probably get a yellow card for that. Now that knocked Williams out, and he's going to be out of rugby for 3 weeks. It is that sort of action that World Rugby is trying to take out of the game, because that'll chase parents away from having their kids playing. You know, a hook, a scrum half ducks under a lock, and he gets a glancing blow on the head. You can feel sorry for the lock, but I can't feel sorry for that fullback, the Argentine fullback who jumped into Williams. It was very, very dangerous what he did, and there has been a precedent. We've seen what happened to Pat Lambie. after the CJ stunt, his career was over. He had
true.
headaches and would be vomiting in the morning for a year and a half afterwards.
I think, if anything, a penalty maybe, just to make sure that we penalise those head collisions. And what came out, I mean, I was sitting right next to where the referee bench was, and I said, the reason for that, not going upstairs, and the guys were on the side of the pit turned around and said, well, it's deemed as a rugby collision. Fair enough, but let's just make sure we keep our game safe.